Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Ajay Rana. I had marketing communication at Accrete. It is our first webinar of our SAP CRM migration webinar series. And today's topic is SAP CRM migration, accelerate innovation with new generation cloud solutions by Accrete. And before we get started, I would like to go over a couple of housekeeping items. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the question box, Q&A box that you have on your right side. And after the presentation, we will pick up those questions. And this webinar is being recorded and will be sent to you following the presentation for your own purpose or to share with others. Now, first, I would like to introduce our presenters. First, we have Ashish Saxena. He's a Vice President, SAP Solutions at Accrete. I will request him to share brief about his role and responsibilities at Accrete. Ashish.
Thanks, Ajay. So I'm Ashish Saxena. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever time zone you are in. I am I'm responsible for all global project delivery at Accrete. I've been doing SAP for about 27 plus years and worked in multiple SAP products like SAP S4 HANA, the latest one, SAP S4 HANA, SAP FSM, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, as well as CPQ and BRIM as well. And worked across different processes like, repairs, maintenance, field service, parts logistics, supply chain, financials. Used to work for KPMG in Bearing Point for about 10 years and worked in multiple end-to-end, service to cash or order to cash projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashish. Another panelist that we have today is Suresh Kumar. He is a founder and CEO of Incent4. Suresh.
Thanks, Ajay. My name is Suresh Kumar, founder CEO, Incent4. I have more than 25 years plus experience, deploying channel management and revenue management applications to mid-size and large enterprises. Thanks, Ajay.
Thank you, Suresh. And today, what we will cover is we will talk about SAP CRM migrations. We will talk about migration options and approaches in interaction center or field service. Same in complaints repair with SAP S4 and ARM. And then we will also talk about SAP CRM channel management migration to Incent4 channel management. And we will also talk about some customer case studies and the lesson learned from our experience with the SAP CRM migration that we did for our clients. So let's start with Ashish. Ashish, would you start the presentation for today?
Sure, thanks. So what I'm going to cover is, the topics which Ajay just mentioned. I will do the object mapping between CRM and S4, where what will go. And then I will give some options, what are the different options which are there. Now, those options you can pick and choose, and obviously those are changeable. That's a generic options which I'm going to present. And then we also talk about how do we migrate, what is the lift and shift, what's the approach to migrate it from SAP CRM to S4. A lot of stuff can be done greenfield as well. You don't have to do, do a lift and shift, but we'll get into the details later on. So starting with the object. So if you see on the right-hand side, I have the core S4 features and some new features which have been introduced by SAP. So in the case of SAP CRM org model, you will see that the org model in S4 is still there, the way it had in CRM. But there's a new one which has been added called Enterprise Organization Model. It is being enhanced slowly. It is, I don't think still it's as robust as the org model, but it's much simpler to use. It's more like the SD or sales organization structure. I think SAP is heading towards that and getting rid of the CRM org model. Then the business partners, which CRM had, like Sold to, Ship to, Contact, or any of the business partners which you may have created. S4 also has the business partners. It used to have customer and vendors. They still populate the customer and vendor table, but the replication would be using the BP model. In case of service products, in CRM, they are going away and they're being replaced by the standard MM03 material master, which SAP S4 has, and there's a specific material type called SERV. So all the service products are under there, and all the functionality which the service product had, special functionality like renewals and SLAs and etc. are part of material type serve. Product bundles remain the same. Install base is no longer there. SAP ECC and S4 always had equipment and functional location, and that remains with our serialized products. IPC, which was there in a CRM, is going away. It is being replaced with SD pricing. There is some configuration to be done for SD pricing to work in this, but it's pretty much, you can do pretty much anything what you could do in SD pricing as well. That was about the master data. Service team also remains the same. If you're using it, you can continue using it. In terms of other objects, interaction center, ERMS, categorization, survey, actions, all of them remain as is. Nothing has changed, and there are not major benefits. I mean, they are pretty much the same, so there is no additional enhancements or features which are out there. Payment cards has changed, so the way SAP CRM payment card works, you can use the digital payment add-on, which SAP has provided for S4. It will work for service transactions as well, and you can connect it to any credit card company like Stripe or Paymetric or etc. And then variant configuration, the advanced variant configuration has been introduced. It's much more robust, nicer user interface. There's some additional functionalities which are there in advanced variants configuration, which you can leverage in S4. So that was about the key objects on master data and interaction center. Going to the details of each and every transaction. So repairs have got a lot of changes. So they have, SAP pretty much has revamped the repair process. There's a new object called in-house repair, and the repair order obviously stays, but the end-to-end process has changed drastically. I would say there's probably more of a greenfield than a brownfield because of the change in process. Returns, complaints was used for RMS and returns as well. Now that you can leverage the standard SD return. If you have a simplistic model, then I would go with a regular SD return sorter. But if you are using a CRM complaint, which means you probably have a complex returns process like advanced shipment, replacements and repairs and credits and whatever. That has been mapped to advanced return management, which existed in ECC as well, but it has been enhanced in S4, and it is now integrated with the repair order. I'm going to talk about it later on. It has been integrated with the repair order, so you can, it can work for repairs as well as all the other scenarios of returns like exchanges and advanced returns and credit, etc. Service plan is going away. SAP has decided to use the preventive maintenance plan of SAP PM. So that pretty much remains as a core S4 feature. RPA, which was for resource planning and scheduling, that has been taken away. You can use the SAP FSM tool for using scheduling, and you can schedule not just internal folks. SAP FSM also has crowd service, which means you can send it out to the non-employees and have them also participate in the service process. For PM orders, which is not in the scope of this, SAP has built a resource scheduling tool separately. It's a separate license, but I just wanted to mention that there is another tool out there which you can use. MRS, which was a tool for resource scheduling for PM orders, is probably going to get replaced with this new SAP tool which SAP has brought. Now, revenue recognition for contracts, say service contracts or even service order is being replaced with SAP RAR. So all the functionality for revenue recognition either used to be in SD revenue recognition, or for service it used to be in internal order based revenue recognition. That's part of RAR. You can still use internal order revenue recognition, but you can't use SD revenue recognition. You have to use SAP RAR. SAP RAR is a recommended method to go forward. It's an embedded S4. And if you are migrating from ECC to S4, it is a must-have to go with RAR, because the SD RevRec is not supported at all in S4. Warranty claims process, which is there in SAP CRM, is again, the standard one is gone away. There is a new one which SAP has developed. There are two new Fiori applications SAP has developed for doing a vendor warranty claim, or you can do a vendor warranty claim on behalf of the customer as well. Then CRM billing is totally gone away. You will have to use S4 billing. There is something called a billing document request, which SAP has introduced. It's more like a pro forma invoice, and that's what you can use for S4 billing. In terms of other objects like complaints, as I said, has been replaced with service requests. So the complaint object is totally gone. The case is still there. Most companies don't use it. It's mostly used by government, public sector companies, or even large companies where they have you have to do a lot of case tracking and hierarchy of cases, etc. Service contract in S4 has a little more better functionality, especially around the change processes of renewals or changing the sole to party, or extending a contract, or creating a new contract based on the expiry of a contract, etc. That's a new feature which has been introduced. For service order, the process for the core service order is pretty similar, not much of a difference. But SAP has introduced an advanced service order process by which you can use the service order as a shell, and then use the PM order, plant maintenance order, to do the execution. And billing is done through, if you guys know, DIP is called dynamic item processor, which is resource related billing, similar to the confirmation. Again, I think those are meant for very large industries like airline or railways, etc., where they have a lot of they may be using PM orders and they don't want to move away to service. So that's why probably it's been introduced. The regular service order should work for most of the customers implementations. There's no change in the service quote and confirmation. It's pretty much the same as it was. So that's the object mapping. Now I'm going to get on to the customer service field service process with S4 only. So as you guys probably may know, or you might have heard as well, that SAP CRM was brought over into S4. And I'm going to talk about 4 options for customer service and field service. The first option is, you're going to do everything in S4 service. And you were doing SAP CRM, so and if you didn't have any third-party system, you could still continue doing it as well. So the existing process of ERMS for emails coming in, or call or chat to the interaction center, or website integration for creating a service request stays as is. And then you can use the service contract for the SLA determination. And then if it is covered by the contract, fine. If it's not covered by the contract, then you can create a service quote. And the service quote uses the pricing, obviously the SD pricing. And then once you send the quote to the customer accepts it, then you can create a service order. In case there is no quoting, you can also use create a service order directly from the service request, and it can be covered by a contract. The contract process is pretty much similar, except this piece of it. The billing request is called BDR. There's a separate Fiori application for that. And all the billing plan line items here, monthly, quarterly, advanced, late, upfront, whatever the scenario might be, is taken care of the billing document request or billing request. It is like a pro forma invoice, and then you can create an invoice from there. And then it goes to SAP RAR. And the service contract also goes to RAR for revenue deferral and recognition as well. In addition, SAP also has introduced a new thing called item-based accounting. You can either use item-based accounting or you can stay with the internal order or mass object controlling. The item-based accounting is more like, the service contract number and the line item number is treated as a CO object, and that's where all the costs are getting collected. A different approach, again, you'll have to choose during design which one you want to go with, or you may want to stay with the existing one the way it is. And then all that is settled to COPA, which is now called margin analysis. So you may be using a costing-based COPA, but then it's now it's called SAP standard is account-based COPA, and margin analysis and account-based COPA are pretty similar with minor differences. And then if you were using PM preventive maintenance for the customers for service contracts, like you want to have recurring service, the PM plan, the maintenance plan which I talked about in the previous slide, is tied to the contract. It automatically generates the PM orders or the service orders on a specific schedule, monthly, quarterly, or based on the rules which you define, based on usage or kilometers driven, etc. And then the process of creating a sales order for sending the parts to the technician, that remains as is. Sending, buying parts or low value parts or services, you can trigger that of the service order. Creating a reservation for sending the part, moving the parts from a storage location, that remains as is, that process integration. You can enhance it like you did in SAP CRM, but that can also be done in S4 also. The thing which has been added is a dispatch to technicians. So you can have dispatch rules. You can use service team and some attributes, geographies, and it is not a full-fledged scheduler. It's just how do you dispatch a service order operation to a specific technician who can then accept it. But the confirmation piece of it, which pretty much you can probably use, you probably need a online or an offline mobile app. You can build a BTP mobile application, custom, or you can use an existing one, but that has to be integrated to S4, which you can, some of it can work straight away, but some of it will need changes because there's a lot of use of CDS views and AMDP and other technical terms for integration versus the old method of integration which you might have used. And obviously the technician records all the time, labor, parts, etc., and all the costs which are collected are then sent over to the CO object of the internal order, and then everything goes over to the margin analysis. So that was about S4 service only. Now I'm going to talk about the second option in which you have SAP Service Cloud as well. So SAP had SAP CRM, then they had SAP C4C, and then now they have something SAP C4C version 2, which is also called SAP Service Cloud version 2. So if you have it or you want to go for it, the process is similar, except that the functionality is there is no ERMS. There is an email functionality, which is different than the way ERMS worked. So you can get a customer email, and the email will be received, and it will automatically create a case and send an acknowledgement back to the customer. And you can build rules, etc., for the case processing. If there is any approval rules or routing rules, etc., you can do that. In my opinion, the Service Cloud version 2 has a much nicer user interface. I think it's more non-ABAP based, if you want to call it, and it's probably more, robust and nice, easier to use. You also can see that it supports all channels, including SMS and chat. And there's something called an agent desktop, which replaces the interaction center. The agent desktop can be connected to CTI and other stuff as well. But pretty much everything, in fact, even the emails can come to the agent desktop as well, where it's one-stop shop for all the customer interactions. And this website, you can integrate the website also to create a case. And when you create the case, you can make a call to S4 for the service contract. to get the entitlement details and what is the coverage there. Then in case of, you can potentially create a case either in Service Cloud, or you can use a mashup to create a case in S4 directly. The recommended approach is you create the case in directly in S4, because why do you want to create a case here and replicate it here to S4? It's better to create the service code directly in S4. But you have both the choices. So if you create the code here, you can send the code to the customer, you can accept it or reject it. And if they accept it, then you create the service order. The same thing can be done here as well. You can send the code to customer and then create the service order if it's accepted or not. It's covered by the contract, then there's no issue. You can obviously you don't need a code then. You can directly go from the case to the service order. The pricing, obviously, the quote uses whether it's a Service Cloud quote or a S4HANA quote, the pricing is used from S4. And then for the service contract process, pretty much remains the same as I described earlier, with the billing request, invoice, RAR, maintenance plan, etc. The key differences are primarily here in the Service Cloud and how it integrates with S4. And then the execution part remains the same as well. Going to option 3, if you chose S4 service and you want to have an execution engine, which means you need to have a mobile application for the technicians, then you can use SAP FSM. Now you can use SAP FSM, or you also can use SAP Service and Asset Manager as well. That's another tool to be using, but Service and Asset Manager does not have a scheduling engine, whereas SAP FSM has a scheduling engine as well. So I'm not going to go through the same process. It's pretty similar to what I said earlier. But if you can see here, in the case of FSM, what you have is this: you have a service order and you have a service and a part. Now the service order is replicated as a service call to SAP FSM. FSM, the service operations which are there are sent as an activity, and the parts are also sent over as a reserved part for the service call. This activity can be, the service activity can be scheduled. So the scheduler of SAP FSM is quite robust. Is much more robust than RPA, let me put it that way. It can also do route-based scheduling. It can do it based on availability, skill set required, and for the technician, and what the technician has, and do the mapping, etc. So you can take holidays and vacations and time offs or etc. as well. And if a customer rejects it, doesn't accept the assigned activity, they can reschedule it and give it to some other technician who's nearby in the vicinity. Okay. So once the scheduling for the service activity is done, /service operation, the technician can go on site, and they have a mobile application wherein they can record their travel time, labor time, parts used, if there are any expenses. And there's also something called a checklist, which is actually quite robust. And in fact, SAP has used the SAP FSM checklist and designed it in multiple S4 and even Service Cloud applications. It basically says, okay, if you have to do an inspection, I have to do steps A, B, C, D for the inspection. And you can put that in the checklist, and you can check them off and say, okay, this has been done, or even take a picture for each step and put it in there as well. It can be, and you can make it rule-based as well, that okay, if it is this equipment, checklist A should appear. If it is this type of equipment, checklist B should appear, etc., etc. So checklist functionality can definitely be leveraged extensively, and it does take time to build the checklist, and especially if you're building complex checklist as well. Once the mobile app is, the technician got the customer signature, entered information for the checklist and parts, time, labor, it comes back to SAP FSM, which creates something it creates something called a TNM journal, and then it integrates with SAP S4 for the service confirmation, wherein you can do the goods movement, the labor, track the labor expenses, etc. And you can do an attachment as well for customer signature and checklist and that stuff. And all the information then flows from the service confirmation to the CO object, which is or the internal order, and the process remains the same. So that's option 3 for SAP FSM. Option 4 is we have all 3 of them. You have SAP S4 service, you have Service Cloud, and you have SAP FSM as well. So again, as SAP Service Cloud has got all the features which I just described earlier. Then you have the contract part of it, which is in S4. Then you have the service order part of it. And of course, all the logistics transactions like sales order, purchase order, reservations will remain in S4. And then you have the FSM piece as well integrated. So if you are a full SAP shop and you want to get all 3 of them, you can integrate all of them as well. Again, as I said, mashups are recommended wherever possible instead of trying to replicate. But you can obviously use middleware or CPI or BTP integration to integrate also. So that's about the options for S4 service, Service Cloud and FSM for the field service, the customer service, and the interaction center part of it. You can obviously tweak it, change the processes based on your respective business process or requirements. But this is just a high level process flows. Okay, now I'm going to talk about complaints and repairs. Some customers don't have field service or have field service and repairs, wherein you send the part back. Customer sends the part back either under a contract or under warranty, or they just want a replacement. They want an exchange and send them a part in advance or after they receive it, and then you basically repair that part and put it back into stock. So that scenario, you can again use the similar process as what you had in SAP CRM. The only thing which is going to get different is the service request. Again, it's an optional thing. You don't have to have a service request, but if you want to track more details besides just the part return, service request is a good thing to have. But from the service request, you can create an advanced return order or a regular return order as well. And there is something called a new repair object, which has been introduced by SAP. It's really an equipment, but it has some actions by which you can either from the advanced return order, create a trigger, link it to the repair object, or from the repair object, you can directly create an advanced return order or a return order as well. From the advanced return order, there are some actions by which you can trigger the in-house repair process. And this is the new functionality which I was talking about. The in-house repair process gets triggered. It has some pre-checks, and those pre-checks include, okay, I want to create a service quote, or I want to get the part back, or I want to do both, or I don't want to do the quote, I want to create the repair order directly. So those are some of the options. There's probably some more, and you can configure some of your own as well as needed. And once the repair order is created or the service quote is created, service quote goes to the customer, let's say they accept it, you create the repair order. In the case of warranty and contract, obviously don't need the service quote, but the system can determine the contract and warranty for the repair order. That's the next thing. Another thing which is different is once the technician performs the repair, and you can do one repair order can have multiple equipments, or you can create one repair order for each separate equipment. All that scenarios are possible. You can track the labor and time. And if it is a billable repair, you can create the billing request, the BDR, which I talked about earlier, service contract and repairs and service order. All of them use the BDR process. And you can do a fixed rate repair based on the repair order pricing, $100 an hour, or $100 total, whatever. You can get the billing request to bill from that, or you can do actuals based on the repair confirmation. And then there is finally a process for disposition, what do you do? So in the case of repair in which the customer wants the product back, you do an outbound delivery and send it back to the customer. In case they wanted an advance exchange or a replacement, you can repair the product and put it back into stock, or you can scrap it as well. So all the options are there. But it's a little more streamlined, in my opinion, compared to the diagnosis and the other actions which were there, sequential and hierarchical stuff. This is more streamlined, in my opinion. And it is tied to the advanced return order process as well. So you could use the order reason for advanced returns, and then it basically triggers this process from here itself. Now, in case of advanced returns, wherein there is no repairs involved, you want the part to be replaced, or you want to give them a credit memo, you create the returns delivery, and then there is something called a refund code, and you can either give them a credit or you can do a replacement. So advanced return orders functions more like a cockpit, and you can also do, once you receive the product, you can do an inspection and do follow-up activities. So basically, you can send it for repair. You can send it to the vendor for repair. You can send it to the vendor totally to get a replacement part. You can send it back to the customer. You can scrap it. You can send it to another warehouse, another storage location, put it in block stock, scrap it. So all the follow-up activities for that returns process can be implemented. Again, I think it's a little more streamlined and a little more better process compared to the SAP CRM process. So based on what you can see the process flow, it's quite different than what SAP CRM repair and complaint process was. So this potentially could lead into a greenfield implementation. If you try to use, if you're not using advanced returns, ARM, it's called ARM as well, then you may have to implement ARM, and then the repair process also has to be re-implemented. So the same process also can be done with the S4 Service Cloud as well. So you can, like creating a case. Case can also be tied to a registered object. So you can replicate the equipment from S4 to Service Cloud and get a registered object. You can also have function location, equipment, all that stuff also is possible in Service Cloud also. I just showed a registered object in this case. But the process could be that you, from the case, you can use a mashup to create the advanced return order or the regular return order, or you can create the return order in Service Cloud and replicate that to an advanced return order or a regular return order in SAP S4. Again, this is an optional step, not mandatory. This also is an optional step if you don't want to use the case. But if you're going to use a Service Cloud, it might make sense to use the case as well. So rest all processes are pretty similar to what I just described. There is not much going changes there. Okay, so then if you were to do a brownfield, it's definitely possible for the interaction center and field service. SAP does provide some tools by which you can bundle the existing CRM configuration, as well as the enhancements which you have done, the AET tables and AET fields, etc., bodies, etc. You can download it. And then you can also download the CRM data like leads, opportunities, service orders, tickets, etc., custom tables as well. And then obviously you can then, once you download it, you have to do S4 service basic setting. You can import the configuration into S4 service using a program which SAP provides. Again, SAP does not provide all the programs. You will probably get some of them. Some of them you may have to custom build, and we have built some as well. And then you can have it, you have to do some manual tasks like number ranges and some other config, and there's obviously going to be some manual tasks. And then you can upload all the information which you downloaded into S4 service. Again, you can download all information. You can pretty much get all the opportunities, all the service orders, or you can decide, oh, I'm going to get it for only the open ones, or I'm going to get the open ones plus last 2 years or last 3 years. Again, it's a decision which has to be made during the project as well. And then S4 obviously works a little differently. There's a Fiori interface as well. So there are some setup which has to be involved, which is required in S4 as well. Some of the items like complaints doesn't exist in S4, so there is no mapping object. You can create a service request for that if you want to map it to that. Contracts is a little difficult to bring over because there's a lot of history. You can have renewals and you can have maybe running for 5 years, and it's got a lot of like how you set it up in and how was it built and the debit memo requests, etc., which got created in SAP CRM. Do you want to get all that stuff? As that's a little challenging. The contract itself, we probably can get it, but the transactions, the billing plan, and the billing, etc., may be a little problematic. Then the repair order process is pretty much new. So you have a lot of like the in-house repair, the repair object, etc. That is new functionality. Repair order per se itself, you can get the open repair orders. I would recommend to probably do a greenfield and try to, somehow plug it in. But yeah, we can bring in open repair orders for sure. RMAs and advanced returns, if you're already using the return order functionality in ECC, when you migrate from ECC to S4, that'll get migrated automatically. Same is true for the advanced returns. If you are using it, otherwise it'll be a greenfield in S4. So that is in a nutshell about field service, customer service, complaints and repairs. I'm going to hand it over to Suresh now, because SAP CRM also had channel management, and some customers have channel management, and Suresh is going to talk about that.
Thanks, Ashish. I want to spend some time discussing some options for migrating the channel management functionality in SAP CRM. So the data elements that comes into SAP CRM for channel management is basically sales out, which is your point of sales, inventory and claims that's coming from outside of SAP, and then there is sales in, which is invoices that's coming into coming from SAP CC, or and these are the key functionalities in SAP CRM for channel management. Transmission management for collecting and processing the point of sales, inventory and claims data, then inventory reconciliation to accurately calculate what the channel inventory is, so that it can be used in price protection and stock rotation incentive programs. And then you have rebates, which is not technically it's in ECC, not in CRM, but so that's the other module that can be migrated. And then there's ship and debit and design registration. And if you look at the functionality that's available in Incent4 channel management solution, you can see there's pretty much a one-to-one mapping between the functionality that's in the CRM and the Incent4 channel management. So the transmission management, is the corresponding functionality is called channel data management, or CDM, and then the rest of the modules are all just the same functionality. And now basically you just reconnect your data elements into the channel management system. And this is basically a lift and shift kind of approach to do this migration. Okay, and these functionalities are provided through a suite of applications in Incent4 channel management solution. The first one is channel data management. This is the application that collects, cleanses and transforms the channel data, point of sales, inventory and claims, and produces revenue quality data that can be used in all the downstream applications, whether it's incentives, rebates, ship and debit, sales commissions, and etc., or also for RevRec. The second application suite that's available in Incent4 is the incentives management. There is we can manage very complex incentives, like pricing compliant incentive programs like rebates, special pricing agreement, ship and debit, market development funds co-op, and then of course inventory based incentive programs like price protection and stock rotation. And the third application suite that's available in Incent4 solution is sales commissions. It's basically quarter based commissions with draws and clawbacks, and then The fourth is the deal and design registration. So it allows, basically take care of your channel conflicts, allows your channel partners to register your design opportunities or deals. And once you win the deal or the design win, you can convert that into a commission split plan and then pay commissions. And then the fifth application suite that's available is royalty management, which is, if you have revenue stream or expense stream based on your IP rights, this can be used by licensors and licensee to manage the royalties. And now specifically looking at channel data, how the information flows through the system, you have your channel partners, your distributors, your resellers, contract manufacturers, so they can send their data into the CDM system, either through EDI, email, Excel, SFTP, whatever, or log into the portal and upload the data. And this channel data management application will actually, cleanse and generate revenue quality data that can be fed into your revenue management applications, whether it's sales commissions or incentives or royalties, and also for RevRec into the SAP system, right? And now specifically looking at the CDM or channel data management, what it does is it collects all the data from your channel partners, point of sales, inventory, and claims. And then it does, these are the type of operations it does. It cleanses, maps, and normalizes the data. It does validation, so it looks at the material number that is in the raw POS and inventory file, maps it to the the material master. Then it enriches your point of sales. It matches your bill to and the ship to the appropriate accounts in the accounts master, customer master. It enriches with territory information, region information, with attributes of your materials, attributes of the customers, etc. And it can also do an independent valuation of your point of sales using price book or a FIFO of invoices. The other functionality that's in the CDM is the sales in, sales out analysis or inventory reconciliation. So this is where the CDM application calculates a roll forward inventory, the month end inventory, and you can compare that with what the channel partners reporting, and actually you can reconcile that inventory and then use that in your price protection and stock rotation calculations, as well as your inventory reserves for RevRec. The CDM system also has a partner scorecard, so you can actually give a score to your partner based on partner performance, which can be based on various things like, are they submitting data on time, their point of sales and inventory on time? Is it accurate? Are they meeting their revenue expectations? Are their inventory expectations? So there's a whole bunch of attributes that you can use to assign a score to your partner. And then it also comes with AI analytics and dashboards. And that's that decision grade data from the CDM system can then be fed into any of the downstream revenue management applications, sales commissions, commission splits, incentives, rebates, royalties, etc. And also to the SAP system for RevRec and whatnot. Then if you're looking at our incentive management offering, of course, we supports rebates out of the box, all kinds of rebates, volume rebates, growth rebates, retention. It's all out of the box. It can be easily configured. Ship and debit, this is, and special pricing agreement, market development funds and co-op funds, SPIFs, and these are all pricing compliant based incentive programs. And then of course you have inventory based incentive programs, price protection and stock rotation. And this is where the inventory reconciliation module can calculate correct inventory in the channel before you compute the price protection and stock rotation credits. And then we also have a sales commission application, support quota-based commissions with very sophisticated quota definitions. We call it quota domain. That sets your quota can be based on products or any attributes of the products or customers or attributes of customers, territories, regions, etc., with accelerators and tiered commissions, and draw some clawbacks. We also have a way to define period quota. So besides having an annual quota, you can also have a monthly quota, and you can split your commissions between period, monthly or quarterly versus and the annual quota. And a special kind of commissions is what the deal or design win based commissions. This is where you can pay commissions to your manufacturer reps or your reps based on a specific deal. So it allow so if you have the deal or design registration application, you can register design opportunities or deals, and once you win a deal or have a design win, you can convert that into commission split plans and calculate and pay commissions on that. Okay. And then on the royalty management application, it can be used both by a licensor or a licensee, and both have access to all the royalty calculations and reports and statements. So it complete transparency to the licensee as well as the licensor. The system also allows you to estimate your royalty based on forecast historical data, and that actually helps quite a bit with your ASC 606 and IFRS 15 compliance. Ashish, back to you. Ashish, you're muted, I think.
Okay, thanks, Suresh. I'll continue where Suresh left off. So just as a FYI for everyone, the Incent4 solution is basically a competition to Vistex or Model N, but it's probably less than half the price. And it has pretty much functionality what is there in those solutions. You could use like rebates, for example, or incentives. It is much more robust than the condition contracts functionality which you have in S4. I'm not saying condition contract is bad, it's pretty good as well. But if you were looking at a user-friendly and easy to build rules, condition contracts is a little tricky in terms of building rules based on pricing, etc. Anyway, continuing to the CRM mapping with the S4 objects. So, you can map the SAP CRM to the Incent4 objects. So if you can see here, the products, the customers, and pricing are replicated from S4, to Incent4, and pricing will come as a price book. And then you have design registration in SAP CRM, which can be migrated to Incent4 as well. There is a commission functionality as well, as Suresh mentioned. Commission in SAP CRM is not there. You have to buy SAP Calidus or Commission Cloud. And then based on the commission calculation, you can make general ledger postings or even accrual commission postings as well. Then you can have ship and debit contracts. So SAP CRM had ship and debit contracts, which can be converted from a design registration or from a quote. Here also you can build the ship and debit contract, and you can have other incentive programs like volume rebates, different types of rebates or MDF, etc., set up here as well. The invoices will send in SAP CRM sell-in information, which will trigger a price bucket, which stored all the ins and outs. In Incent4, you also have a sales in. The invoice will trigger a sales in. And then you have data coming in from the claims and the POS and channel inventory. They come in from the distributor or dealer, and the claims are validated against the ship and debit contract, and POS goes to the price bucket, channel inventory goes to the price bucket. A similar process happens here as well. You have the inventory and claims POS coming in. It goes to the channel data management process. SAP CRM has something called a transmission management, which I did not drop because of lack of space. But transmission management, channel data management is very robust. It can take any kind of files, Excel, XML, EDI, portal, etc., and do the enrichment, as Suresh explained. And then you can get the channel inventory gets updated, or the POs data gets updated as well, or the claims. Now, the claims which come in are validated against the ship and debit contract, and they create a credit memo in S4. Similarly, you can have a price protection program. You have a price protection in SAP CRM, which creates a credit memo. The claim also creates a credit memo in S4. Similar process here as well. The price protection program, which generates price protection records, which trigger a credit memo in S4. The claim also triggers a credit memo in S4. So that's a mapping of objects between Incent4 and SAP CRM, and how Incent4 will work with SAP S4. Now, how do you migrate from SAP CRM channel management? Again, a similar approach. You have to do a lift and shift. So we basically download, we have programs to download channel inventory. You don't want to get all POS and claims history, because there'll be God knows how many billions of records. It may be better to just get unprocessed ones, but if you want, you can get all of them as well. POS records, claim records, the ship and debit contracts which are valid, and any design registration opportunities which are open. You can bring it over into Incent4 Channel Management, and basically, you can do upload of all the objects here into channel management. In addition, obviously, you have to set up Incent4, do some data mapping between CRM and channel management. Some of it we already done, but we still have. There'll always be some custom stuff or fields which we haven't mapped to. There may be some Incent4 enhancement which have to be done just to meet the business requirements, and the middleware has to be set up. Like if you have BTP integration services, it can integrate with Incent4 and S4 to do the integration. So that's all about the migrations from SAP CRM channel management to Incent4 channel management. I'm going to talk about a customer story wherein a customer basically had SAP CRM and it was heavily customized. They were migrating from ECC to S4, and they had cases and field services, etc. there. So, they obviously used custom tables and AETs, and there were large volumes of RISE-F objects which were there, and plenty of integrations which were there. And these are some examples of enhancements which were done. Like there were 12 business roles with 500 assignment block, different transaction types, multiple bodies and enhancement implementations, multiple reports and programs, RFCs, etc., and multiple AET tables and data elements and action profiles. All of them was migrated over into S4 service. In this case, they just used SAP CRM to S4 service, which is option 1, which I showed you. They did not have other features, but obviously other clients may have different features as well. So that was just a quick customer story, just to give you an idea that it can be done. You can do a greenfield or you can do a brownfield. But some of the lessons learned and recommendations is, I showed you some of the options which are there for SAP CRM, what architecture you can have. So early decision is better, like what you're going to do where and how you're going to integrate. That would help you, during the implementation. Earlier the better. Similarly, the approach, do you want to do greenfield? Do you want to do brownfield? Do you want to revamp your processes? If you're looking at SAP FSM and you have a custom mobile app, you want to use FSM, then you may have to look at revamping the process. Do you want to use the advanced returns process, or you want to use the in-house repair process, etc. Or you want to have some additional functionality which you want to re-implement. That will help you in deciding whether you want to go with greenfield and brownfield. The end-to-end process flows obviously will need some tweaks and changes. That's part of the implementation, of course, but they need to be defined as well, because otherwise there is confusion on what the process is. I talked about leveraging new S4 functionality. There is, in addition to what I mentioned, there is more, like there is advanced ATP, which you can leverage, which allows you do ATP across plant, across storage locations. Do you want to use credit cards? And there are many more functionalities in S4 which you can go through there as well. Again, consider mashups. That means basically to create the transaction in S4 directly versus trying to do middleware application, which leads to some errors anyways. which was the biggest drawback with SAP CRM and ECC, because there were quite a few middleware errors which people were not happy with, and it was difficult to resolve. So that is pretty much gone now with SAP CRM, but it's there in some shape or form, but much lesser in general. Regarding the report, you can use SAC and SAP Analytics Clouds for out-of-the-box content, so you can create your own stories and your own reports. SAC sits on top of S4, so you can get all the information from S4 or Service Cloud, as well as SAP FSM, and build your own reports besides what SAP provides. If you have extractors, if you have data warehouse, or if you have SAP BW, you will have to modify the extractors, because SAP is either got rid of them, or they have come up with new ones, or you may have custom ones which may have to be tweaked as well. And then there is AI functionality in all of them. I did not mention it, but Service Cloud has it, FSM has it, S4 has it. So wherever possible, you can turn on the AI tools which SAP provides, especially after there's some transaction history, which if you're going to do brownfield, then obviously you will have, but if you don't, then you will not have history as well. So you could, get some benefit of the AI and ML tools which SAP provides out of the box. That is all I had from my side, Ajay. Transferring it back to you.
Thank you, Ashish. We're almost at the end of the session, but we have a couple of questions. First one, Ashish, maybe for you, is ARM under SAP S4 part of same license?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And just give me a second. Okay, so we have one question. Just I got it. We have SAP ECC Service Management integrated with Oracle Service Cloud and Oracle Field Service.
Mhm.
It's not clear how the show use how we would migrate. Maybe, I believe Ashish, they need information that how they can do that migration actually.
So yeah, that's that. So the thing is this, that if you have SAP Service Management, I mean, SAP's general guideline was that SAP Service Management was on a compatibility pack by which it was supposed to expire in 2027. They moved to 2030. So you are supposed to migrate on to S4 service. And we can probably have a separate call and discussion on how we can help you migrate. But if it is a very complex thing, it is going to be a challenge to migrate from S4 service, S4 service management to S4 service. Not that it can't be done, but each of the objects have to be looked at, like service notification, the service order, all the whatever confirmation, etc. The way it's being done, it definitely is a much better way to do it in S4 service, in my opinion. But again, all the integrations which you have with Oracle, those will also get impacted. So there is definitely a large impact with that happening. And you probably might have contracts as well. Now, the contracts which you have, service contracts, are probably in VA45 or VA41 transactions. And that's not the way SAP service works totally. So there is a lot of change management impact there. And
Yeah.
my
So Ashish, maybe I think we will suggest that we can have a session with the team and we can discuss all the options there with these guys, right?
Any other questions?
Yeah. So follow up on this is that would that be a greenfield migration, or we need to go through the
Pretty much,
details?
it's probably going to be a greenfield for if you're going from service CS or SM to S4 service. It's probably would be. I would recommend to go for a greenfield because everything is changing literally.
Okay. And we have one more question. Um, it's about Salesforce Service Cloud and S4 Service integration, I believe.
Mhm.
That's the question. How about SFTC Service Cloud and S4 Service combination?
Yes, you can integrate. So instead of Service Cloud, SAP Service Cloud version 2, you can use Salesforce as well. If that's the question, SFDC, you can integrate that with the, let's say the case in Salesforce. So you basically have to replicate all the data for the master data into Salesforce for business partners, products, pricing, etc. And then you can create the case from Salesforce and then continue the process from the case onwards into S4 Service Cloud. That probably definitely can be done. But if you go beyond it and then try to integrate the logistics transaction and the service order from the Salesforce, that's where it becomes a lot more challenging. One object case integration is probably not a problem. You can use Salesforce for that.
Okay. All right. So these were the questions that we had, Ashish. So we are at the end of the session now. So thank you, Ashish and Suresh. And thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar. And you will definitely receive a follow-up email with the link to view a recording of today's webinar and also a PDF version of this presentation. And on behalf of Accrete and our presenters, thank you for joining us today and have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye.